Now it is the end of the quarter. It's always good to give an update as to what has happened in the last quarter. I will start with Nu.Q NETs. Our whole mission now is to find big uses for NETosis. So the obvious big use is in sepsis. So fantastic to have announced DetectSeps in France. And the French government is spending over $8 million in an interventional study, which our biomarker is the only biomarker, with the aim of making our test the national screening test for sepsis in France. I'm very excited to be able to say that recruitment starts this September. There are some other big use cases we're working on. HS, which is about 1% of the world's population, a big problem. Dr. Evangelos is doing a lot of work with other key opinion leaders in our test being used in patient management. Other very exciting developments was the Mayo Clinic, the very famous one from the US, did a large study of over 600 people and looked at our tests in trauma. Does the Nu.Q NETs test help them make clinical decisions? And the answer was absolutely. So if you were healthy with no trauma, you have averaged about 20 nanograms per mil. If you had trauma, it was over 350. And if you went on to get VTE, which is a blood clot, obviously very bad, it was over 800. So incredibly distinct data, very exciting. And we're waiting for more data from the Mayo Clinic, but yet again, another use for our Nu.Q NETs test that could be very large, in the tens of millions of tests per year, just in the US alone. Also, a fantastic breakthrough this quarter in Nu.Q NETs is the ability to have the test through a finger prick blood sample. This means our test on lateral flow could be as common as a pregnancy test or a COVID test, which means you can do it outside the lab in developing countries, at the bedside or in emergency. And we are doing a lot more development work, but we're very hopeful this will massively broaden the market outside centralized lab testing for Nu.Q NETs. The next one is our Nu.Q Vet. You're probably familiar that Fujifilm in Japan have now successfully launched our test in the centralized lab in dogs. Fantastic outcome. That opens the door for much more testing as part of wellness panels, and we're in discussions with several other large companies to launch our test as a centralized lab test worldwide. And also, we submitted, and we hope to have it published soon, the vet paper in cats. So we've shown very good discrimination in cats about the best data we've ever produced in any animal, and potentially that massively opens the market in the world because there are as many, if not more, cats than dogs in the world. The next one I'd like to talk about is Nu.Q Discover. We now have around 100 different customers, and that revenue is picking up very well. That's using our tests for other purposes, for other groups, either in kits or as a service for customers, and that's growing very strongly. Under the Nu.Q Cancer umbrella, we have Nu.Q Lung. That's in the reimbursement process in Europe, in France in particular, and that would be something we're looking for about 50 euros per test. And we hope to have good updates on that through this year. And finally, Capture-Seq, a tremendous milestone for the company. We're the first group ever to concentrate chromatin fragments, which is the DNA and the proteins from the cancer. And over 99% concentration, absolutely outstanding, and really good discrimination in the test. Over 95% of early stage cancers in the preliminary work. So we're now in the process of optimizing, and a lot of discussions are ongoing with the biggest of the big biopsy companies that are very interested, obviously, in a test that could be so accurate and really helpful in the detection of cancer. So a lot more on that coming out in the next few months as we continue to do larger studies and further optimize. And that really leads me to the last, but I think the most important section, commercialization. As we said on the K, we have over 12 different discussions going with multi-billion-dollar companies, all the ones you can probably think of in the human diagnostic space as well as the liquid biopsy space. We're happy with how that's progressing, and we hope to have a lot of news through the rest of this year and next year as we license our intellectual property to some of these large companies.